I'm Davia Chambers and this is Let's Talk Tobago. Today you're joining us at an institution described by Architectural Digest as a physical container for society's shared knowledge, historical documents and academic musings. Libraries, they say, shoulder enormous responsibility, but they also inspire. And this newest addition to Tobago's landscape is no different. The Scarborough Library Facility makes quite a statement on the corner of Gardenside Street. And behind those doors, there's an array of art pieces and specialized rooms. But it also pays homage to Tobagonians instrumental in library and information services on the island. Stay with us to find out more, but first, a look at our stories this week. Tobago readies itself in the event of an earthquake and tsunami. Castara finds out how ordinary Tobagonians like you and I can benefit from tourism, and a piece of Tobago now hangs in the UN headquarters in New York.
Hey, why don't you step into the Scarborough Library Facility? It has all the knowledge of our land, people and heritage that you just won't find online. The Scarborough Library Facility is now open. Tobago Library Services. Information inspires innovation.
This is Let's Talk Tobago. Welcome back to our newest library facility in Scarborough. What stands here today is a result of the hard work and the dedication of many, but 4 Tobagonians in particular stand out because of the contribution they've made towards the enhancement of library services and information throughout this island. For their commitment, they've each been honored, but right now we'll focus on Anne Mitchell Gift, a librarian, a former presiding officer of the Tobago House of Assembly, and a writer. Now, this doesn't begin to capture her numerous achievements, but as a way of saying a public thank you, her work lives on here at the Anne Mitchell Gift Auditorium. The relative calm here is in stark contrast to the panic, fear, and hazardous shaking and flooding caused by an earthquake, which is usually followed by a tsunami. Now, no one can predict when this phenomenon will occur, but preparations help. Omadara Mills tells us what Tobago is doing to ensure this island is ready.
There's not much to slow it down, and because the wavelength of the tsunami is so big.
Just like Japan in 2011, this can happen in Tobago. An earthquake followed by a tsunami. And if it does, the Tobago Emergency Management Agency, TEMA, stands ready to sound the alarm. TEMA also wants to ensure the public hears something like this from the early warning systems.
We have received word that there is a tsunami, and therefore you need to be prepared to evacuate, move inland immediately, move inland and go to high ground.
Exercise Dark Storm is one way of getting the word out. It's an annual disaster response action done as part of the National Emergency Exercise Day, NEED. It targets those in the southwestern end of the island since it's a relatively flat and low-lying area, which makes it prone to tsunamis. The exercise tests specific equipment and procedures that are in place to deal with natural disasters.
Today, we want to test our early warning system. We want to make sure that the audible tones can be well understood by the community, that people know exactly how to exercise and how to respond utilizing their muster points. We also have been encouraging the rest of the island to also exercise.
This year, more businesses and schools are involved, since in an actual event, everyone will be affected.
We are hoping that it will broaden the understanding. It will allow our stakeholders to be well rehearsed. We expect that the competency level of emergency responders will be able to be well exercised so that you can see a better improvement in their response capability as it relates to a tsunami.
It's hoped that more people will get on board and prepare disaster plans for their workplaces and homes. Following this exercise, emergency agencies such as TEMA, Health and the protective services will get together and analyze what areas need improvement. I'm Umar Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
No one is left out here, even the visually impaired. There's a room that specially caters to their every need while at the library. Just to give you an idea, there's a braille embosser, recorded and talking books, and a job access with speech software. This allows connectivity to the internet, so visually impaired persons, or VIPs as the library prefers to call them, can access email and social media. But let's leave it here for now to share the story of a Tobagonian family who did everything in their power to ensure their bundle of joy got a new lease on life.
The baby you see here, Darius Frank, was born last year on Christmas Day. The best gift parents can hope for. But the doctors at Scarborough General Hospital observed he was having difficulty breathing, so the family was referred to the Eric Williams Medical Sciences Complex, where they found out baby Darius had a grave heart condition known as atrial septal defect. In layman's terms, that's a hole in the wall between the two upper chambers of your heart. That hole may close on its own during infancy, but it can lead to death, so the family started looking for medical solutions that will save their baby's life. That research took them to Colombia, at Cardio Infantile Foundation to be exact.
When doing further checks at Mount Hope, they saw that he needed an urgent heart surgery, which couldn't be done in Trinidad because of the lack of facilities and lack of the cardiologist team. So we then applied to the Children's Life Fund at Mount Hope for assistance in our venture to go to get the surgery done.
The application was approved, but the Children's Life Fund only provides travel arrangements for the mother and child. Mr. Frank couldn't contemplate leaving his wife alone in a strange country as they fought to save baby Darius' life. He therefore sought help that would allow him to be with his family in Colombia.
You, the father, then have to seek financial assistance on your own. So I then, being a Tobagonian, then went to speak to Mr. London, wrote a letter informing him of the situation and asking him for some sort of financial assistance, which I find was speedily done.
Just 2 weeks old, baby Darius underwent the life-saving surgery, and today he's living what his dad describes as a second life. In another year or so, the family has to return to Colombia for a follow-up surgery, but for now, they enjoy their little bundle of joy daily.
We really thank God and family for the prayers and our faith for bringing us this far.
I'm Melissa Crosby for Let's Talk Tobago.
Up the winding stairs or a quick ride using the elevator to the first floor brings you to the Young Adult Library, the Audiovisual and Multiple Media Room, the James Bigart Adult Library, and the Senior Citizens Lounge. Yes, you heard me. It's a space that allows the young at heart to play chess, create art and craft pieces, or simply crochet while chatting with a friend. But let's turn our attention to an issue that can change the way we view our teenagers, especially those who run afoul of the law. In 3 landmark cases in the US, the justices ruled that juveniles before the court should be treated differently because adolescence is a period of immaturity and an underdeveloped sense of responsibility. But here, the age of criminal responsibility is 7. This means children who commit crimes are treated as adults. Thankfully, our justice system is looking at changing this and is moving towards a more rehabilitative approach. It's a national project funded by UNAID and supported by the UNDP, and the talks have begun about how it will work right here in Tobago.
These are just some of the non-violent and relatively minor offences committed by children who, if they are first-time offenders, can be sent to the juvenile court. A project that seeks to address deviant behavior in young people before it gets out of control and they end up in the harsh court system and possibly imprisoned. It's a corrective and rehabilitative approach to the rule of law designed for those under the age of 18.
We try to get to children who run afoul of the law early. so that we can engage them, we can counsel them, etc., and keep them out of incarceration later on.
Now, the juvenile court is just one component of the project, and in Tobago, policymakers will focus on an even more primary and precautionary aspect of the plan, the Juvenile Peer Resolution Councils or centers, which essentially trains students to resolve matters among themselves.
We believe sometimes too we do not give our youths enough opportunities to help to redeem themselves, hear what they have to say. Adults feel that they must be talking all the time. So in the model that we are attempting to create, it's a model that would create a voice for the students.
It is hoped that this kind of rehabilitative initiative will help reduce the number of juveniles being imprisoned and create a safer society.
We don't want to have a society where a large percentage of our young people have to go to court and spend a considerable time of their life in jail. So it's preventative.
THA officials will continue to work with the juvenile court team from Trinidad. It's hoped that after more planning and training, the youth court aspect of the project can be set up by September of this year in Tobago. I'm Umadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
It's time to take a break, but stay with us for details of a project that's teaching our young people the skills they'll need for the future. Thanks for staying with us. This is Let's Talk Tobago, and today we're at the Scarborough Library Facility. As we told you earlier, this place honors Tobagonians who've contributed to the development of library and information systems on this island. Dr. Evelyn Mackenzie, or Dr. Mac as she's fondly known, is one of those. She's no stranger to this island, and for her selfless contribution to education and community service, this space is called the Evelyn Mackenzie Children's Library. It has rooms for art and craft, artistic storytelling, and/or tuts. And away from this library on the northern side of Tobago is a quaint and rustic fishing village called Castara. It's synonymous with Northside jazz, dirt oven products, fish broth, and seine pulling. But how can the community really benefit from this?
Homestays are becoming increasingly popular in Thailand, especially in more rural areas. This is the gingerbread house near Chiang Mai, run by Kun Charles and his lovely wife, Kun Oi. Essentially, a homestay is like a B&B, and they're great value for money. Homegrown vegetables to good use when we cook dinner together.
This is an example of community tourism in Thailand, and it's a model Tobago is trying to duplicate. The idea is to bridge the divide between the tourism industry and the people of this island. Today is the launch of the project in Castara, but it's also an exchange of ideas with the consultant who leads its implementation on behalf of the Division of Tourism and the Transportation.
In tourism today, success is about being different. It's not about being the same. So how do we reinforce that difference that Castara has compared to any other community in the world?
Well, Castara starts with an advantage. The village is famous for the dirt oven. It's backed against the oldest protected rainforest in the Western Hemisphere, and the sea is great for snorkeling and swimming. But it's also where you can buy fresh catch. Dr. Poon says these are all attributes that could be leveraged.
So let's take your dirt oven in Castara. So you have the wheat, you create the bread, you create the fresh bread, but you can also do a bread making tour. How to make the bread, how it's done, and what about teas? So you buy the bread, it's fresh, where's the butter, where's the cheese, where's the jam, and where's the herbal tea to go with it? So it's not just about stopping at the bread, it's about the experience. It's not just about catching the fish, but what about the roast fish on the beach? Rather than in a restaurant.
What the Division of Tourism and Transportation is doing in Castara is backed by research, which shows tourists are moving away from the traditional sand and sea vacation. They want the day-to-day experiences of the people in the places they visit. Many also prefer destinations that are environmentally friendly.
A tourism that is kind to the environment, that is responsible to the environment, a tourism that celebrates, promotes, and enhances the culture and the community of Castara, a tourism that moves from products and services to really the delivery of memorable experiences to the customer and to the visitor.
And with this meeting, the foundation is laid for Castara and other communities around the Tobago, kick-starting what's expected to be a tourism experience that sets this island apart from its competitors. From the Division of Tourism and Transportation, I'm Juliet James reporting for Let's Talk Tobago.
So you're not a kid anymore, but you're not quite an adult yet. Of course, there's something here for you. The Young Adult Library provides computer and internet facilities with study booths for the quiet you need while researching. There's also a periodical collection and an array of fiction and non-fiction books with a reading lounge where you can relax. But let's face it, we live in an era where young adults are glued to a smart device. If it doesn't happen online, for them, it's non-existent. However, what's very apparent is the fact that they still need guidance about the best use of technology.
On the surface, this appears to be children simply using a computer in a public space. Well, technically it is, but they are also learning the basics of information technology, like how we use Microsoft Word. And this public space is the Mason Hall Y Zone.
The challenge is not that they never used a computer before. The challenge is that everybody know Facebook. They know computer games. The challenge is that they're not familiar with the keys and how to type something, which is what we are currently working on.
So what they are trying to do here is reach these children using a method that's familiar to them. The use of technology in a classroom setting also helps teachers to support students at the level they are at. In other words, it doesn't matter what they know. Technology helps to bridge that gap. The advocates of the use of technology in the classroom believe it helps students to learn at their own pace. There's better collaboration between peers, and it results in higher engagement by the student, the kind of thinking these students are living proof of. They leave this Y Zone each week with a new computer skill.
How to use the hard parts of the computer and soft parts of the computers, and to use the mouse.
To create the folder from the window, not from the email.
Since coming to this class, I have learned how to transfer something from the computer to a flash drive.
These computer literacy classes started last November. And as it takes off throughout Tobago, it's hoped it will inspire our students and open a world of possibilities for them. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Another Tobagonian honored at the Scarborough Library Facility is James Bigart, the first elected member of the Legislative Council for Tobago. Mr. Bigart was known as a chemist, a pharmacist, and a public activist who played a role in the construction of the Roxborough markets. He was also instrumental in the erection of the bridge at Louisdore River and the agreement by the Anglican Church to start the Bishop's High School in Tobago. His legacy lives on right here at the James Bigart Adult Library. And speaking of legacy, that's what the organizers of an event themed Tobago Strong hopes to leave on the cultural landscape of this island. Let's find out more.
Right now we are working on schoolgirl chic for Fashion Coda.
That's the youngest designer who'll partake in an event that unites fashion, art, music and entertainment. It's Tobago Fashion Coda 2015 under the theme Tobago Strong. But you have to wait until April 23rd to see what schoolgirl chic entails. That will be unveiled along with designs from over 10 other designers from Tobago and Trinidad.
A lot of growth and increases the visibility for the designers here to show their wares. They stream live through the world. Last year we had some 3,500 hits on the live stream, places as far as China and Japan, Indonesia. We had a 16 photograph spread in the Times of India.
So it's definitely a major opportunity for all. This Tobago designer says he's definitely looking forward to participating in the show this year for the first time.
It gives me the inspiration at all times when I have to showcase certain things. It gives me the desire and the adrenaline rush.
And this year, there's an additional aspect to the event. It will expose the designers to the economic side of the fashion industry. Tobago Fashion Coda takes place on April 23, 2015 at the Magdalena Grand Beach and the Golf Resort. One of the premier sponsors is the Division of Community Development and Culture. I'm Alyssa Crosby for Let's Talk Tobago.
We're taking another break, but stay with us as we celebrate a Tobagonian student whose art now hangs in the United Nations head office. Welcome back to Let's Talk Tobago. Today we're at the Scarborough Library Facility, a place where you can get fresh air and a good book. But you don't have to wait for a librarian. You can self-check out a book and sit in the shade here in the courtyard right behind the library. Or if you're more into investigating Tobago's heritage and history, on the second floor you'll find the Susan Craig James Heritage Library. Dr. Craig James is recognized for her efforts in the documentation of the country's history. And while we're on the topic of recognition, let's tell you that a Tobagonian teenager's artwork now graces the walls of the UN Secretary General. Omadara Mills tells us more.
The brushstrokes of 19-year-old Corice Wright, who's working on one of her internal assessment art pieces for CAPE. Although she started art about 7 years ago when she entered Speyside High School, she's already made a name for herself. And her most recent success is winning the 2014 Bridging Borders Through Art competition done by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In addition to the $10,000 prize, her artwork was presented to the UN by the Charge d'Affaires of the UN mission to Trinidad and Tobago.
It's a great feeling because many people came up to me and they was like, I wanted to reach the UN so long, and since you have the opportunity to reach thus far, even teachers have not had the opportunity to reach as far, and I am so blessed and I was so happy.
The winning piece, which Corice did in about 4 days, is entitled Solar Cooler. It's a reference to the competition's theme, climate change and sustainable development.
I came up with an idea where there was an individual with a solar panel at the top of an umbrella and an AC unit at the back. So then the energy from the sun will then generate to the AC through the solar panels. And the atmosphere was very humid and dry. So that's just a depiction of how climate change can impact on the environment in the near future.
In addition to this win, Corice has had other art achievements. They include winning the 2013 Chief Secretary's Calendar Art Competition with her piece Washerwoman, and placing third in the 2012 Bridging Borders Through Art competition. Corice's art and design teacher Chris Thomas feels this is what sets her apart from others.
Corice is excellent at excelling, right, based on what she has accomplished so far. What also I like about Corice is the understanding of the art itself, other than just painting, what the art encumbers.
Solar Cooler now hangs in the executive office of the UN headquarters in New York, and as Corice adds this win to her body of artworks, she hopes it's a beginning that will help her pursue art and international relations at the tertiary level. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Running late on a book return? Trying to evade the late fee? No problem. There's an automated book return right at the front of the library, and it's actually open 24/7. It's the first of its kind in the Caribbean. It's also a practical way of illustrating the library's motto, information inspires innovation. Returning to our sports theme, let's turn our attention to volleyball. Now, it's not a popular sport on this island, but there are plans to change this. Actually, the seed was planted last year when the North, Central America and Caribbean Volleyball Confederation promised to send a coach to train young Tobagonians. They kept their word, and hopefully it's just the beginning.
Brazil's senior men's volleyball team is currently the top in the world. And if you want to reach to this level in volleyball, you first need to know to spike, serve, and understand the basic rules of the game. And that's just some of what over 300 children from 15 schools learned about in the past month. It's a volleyball clinic undertaken by the THA's Department of Sport to have young Tobagonians not only interested, but to compete in this sport.
It's just an initiative to kind of have a volleyball tournament for Tobago specific schools, both primary and secondary. So this was something just geared towards opening that avenue.
And even as children got the opportunity to learn both hard court and beach volleyball, the coaches are keeping an eye out for talent that can be developed so that they can represent their country at regional and international games.
It's been great. There are actually about 4 in this session right now who have keyed on in this program for beach and indoor, and a few primary school students who are about 5'9", 5'8" in primary school, which is very good, the correct height and build for volleyball.
For many students, it's the first time they are playing this sport, and one of them explains why she's now hooked on the game.
I love volleyball because it helped me to concentrate, be focused, and it have a lot of communication with it.
These sessions were led by volleyball coach Augusto Sabatini, an individual who's headed the men's national senior team in 2007 and 2008. He's expected back in November of this year to do follow-up sessions and be a part of the island's primary and secondary schools volleyball tournament. I'm Umudara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
And it's time to have your say, the segment of our program where we hear from you, our viewers. It's public knowledge that the government plans to distribute 100 HDC houses per week in Trinidad, begging the question, what about Tobago? The Assembly complains that it's starved of funds to build homes, and the little it's given can only build about 25 to 30 houses per year. So today we're asking, how do you feel about the allocation the THA gets from central government for housing? This is what you said.
We need housing just like everybody else. And Tobago, everybody know we are slow developing place, and if they're not doing anything for us, I don't understand.
Well, I believe the THA should get more money. You know, I mean, as they were quoted, they said that they only got money for 25 houses, and there's a great need for houses.
That allocation is very inadequate because if you notice, anything the THA asks the central government for, they never get it.
The allocation that they're getting is wonderful. They have to work with it because if they could have get more, I feel they would have get more.
I think it's a little bit, and I think the country have enough finance to support these type of needs.
Central government could do better.
It is totally inadequate, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't know how they want Tobago to function.
Everybody needs housing, and the price of housing and the figures they call it, I don't think that allocation would be enough.
And that's how we bring this week's edition of Let's Talk Tobago to a close. Remember, you can send us your comments or queries on anything you've seen in this program to information@tha.gov.tt, or you can even visit us at www.tha.gov.tt. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Davia Chambers, and on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, have a safe and enjoyable week. As we go, we want to leave you with the music of Castara Band, who will be performing at this year's Tobago Jazz Experience.
When the pretty girl them come out, now people stand the whole place turn up, yeah. So let me hear you say, whoa, put up your hands them if you know. And you don't care what people say, can you live so every day? So let me have some fun, yeah, all night long. We wanna drink from the weekend come, we want more. Girl, come over now, baby. I just wanna fill your cup till the sun comes up. Girl, wind up, release your love, party right up. Cause we'll be up in the